Welcome to the London Horror Movie Club. I'm horror writer Lauren Jane Barnett.
And I'm Chris Sapikowski, Lauren's older brother, and I've been watching horror movies since I was 8.
Join us as we talk about the wild, weird, and wonderful horror films set in England's eerie capital.
Welcome back, everyone. And no, you haven't accidentally tuned into New Dawn FM, although today we are teaming up with the host of the Griff Griffiths show, Griff, and his hilarious regular guest co-host, Michele, with one L.
You might be thinking, yeah. There's a few more words I could use.
Sexy, exciting, daring.
Absolutely. In fact, listen, I praise her every day. Now, Lauren, she does some beautiful artwork, and I tell you how gorgeous and wonderful and sexy she is daily, hourly, minutely.
It's true. And on top of that, you guys are so crazy talented. I mean, I know obviously everyone knows you for the radio show, but you guys also have your own singles out, including Christmas Smile, which is currently number 2 in the revival chart.
Now, we're in the revival chart. Now, the revival chart is a massive chart here in the UK, and it's for people that have been making records for over 22 years. And because I've been making records since I was 15, and we are number 2 in this chart. We're above Kylie Minogue, we're above U2, we're above everybody. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
I can't believe it ourselves.
20 years.
It's very exciting news. How did you guys start making a Christmas song? Where did that come from?
Well, you have to start making a Christmas song in the summer. Because if you start making a Christmas song now, it's going to be the summer by the time you finished it. So there's a good friend of ours called Smiley Barnard. Now, he's a producer and a drummer. He drummed with a band called Gene Loves Jezebel and also a band called The Alarm. He's a great record, he's a big record producer. And I just said, look, let's do a Christmas single. So he came up with the idea.
He wrote it.
He pretty much wrote it. And Michele, we put a load of stuff into it. And all of a sudden, the Christmas single was done. And we got loads of people in the video, yourself included.
It's strange recording it in the summer, talking about Christmas.
It is. When you're sitting in the studio, you're thinking, you better smile this Christmas.
Sleigh bells and everything.
Yes, sleigh bells. And you're putting on sun cream in the garden. It was... Well, this is our 3rd single we've had out this year, and it's gone from strength to strength. We're already thinking about the next one, but you have to in the music industry. I've been making records now I'm 61 now. I've been making records since I was 15, so I know how it works.
Griff doesn't stop thinking, do you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's always on to the next project. Well, I just can't keep up.
Lauren, I'm a bit like Tony and yourself. If you've got an idea, you have to pursue that. Nobody else would do it for you. You know, if you think, I want to try this, and I've never been one of those people, Lauren, that says, I was going to do that. I thought about that. I've always pursued every idea. Some of them very successfully, some of them not so. But I don't want to go to my grave thinking, I wish I'd try that. I've given everything a go.
Yeah.
I think
that's a great outlook. I love that. That's great.
But it's true, you know. I've started boxing again now after 10 years. I'm trying to keep myself fit. You know, because before, for example, Lauren, we've known each other for maybe 2 years now, maybe. Where's that time gone? Bang, it's just flown by.
It disappears. I'm glad you brought up when we first met, because we met actually because of horror films, despite the fact that you guys are mainstream with it. And I believe I introduced Michele to you. Was it your first horror film or your first in a while?
I'm real scaredy cat. I think my imagination is far worse than actually watching a film. And if I've ever tried to watch a horror film, I've just ended up turning it off or being like this or having a nightmare. So I just gave up many, many years ago. So, it's been interesting.
What was that first film you asked us to watch?
Yeah, what was that first film?
Did I have The Others? The Others is a good intro.
Really creepy.
Oh, The Others. Yeah, well, I'd seen that before, but I didn't tell Michele. Now, that's a great, because it's like a twist on, they think they're still alive, and they're not still alive.
It's a brilliant film.
And what was that one where, with Vincent Price?
Oh, but did I have you guys watch Dr. Fives, The Abominable Dr.
Yes!
Fives?
Now, that's
the scenery on that is amazing. I loved it.
Now, Laura, we sat there because we did a thing, I think, for about 2 months where you suggested the film, and I was sitting there thinking, I hope she's not scared. And you were just saying, what great scenery! Look at the vibes she's wearing, the clothes she's wearing.
Look at what she's wearing. Oh, I love the Art Deco. And I was just like, are you actually paying any attention to the film whatsoever? I said, well, no, I'm just looking at the clothes and the scenery.
Yeah, Dr. Fives, yes.
Amazing.
But that was very tongue-in-cheeky. It was very 70s. Was it 70s? I don't know.
Yeah,
And then they
very.
made
yeah.
Hammer horror, even though it wasn't Hammer horror.
Yeah, Chris
So
actually.
which one did you like more?
Out of which one?
The others.
Horror really scares me.
Hammer horror scares you.
Yeah.
Everything scares her. I liked the kind of the kind of the quiche kind of element to Dr. Phibes. It was very. It was just very. I wouldn't say dated, but it was of its time.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
Not the others.
Oh yeah,
But
we often
live
talk
in a
about
big
it.
mansion, as you're aware, don't you? You're aware, Laura. We live in a big mansion, and sometimes, because I'm with my parents, we live in this big older house together. And I think sometimes that we like the others there. No one realises that we're actually all dead.
I tell you what, I went downstairs in the middle of the night. I went to the kitchen, and I had a top on that was white, and the doors have got they're like dark wood, but they've got like a reflective image, reflection on them. And it was dark. I haven't got my contact lens in. I was blind in the back. I could just work out shadows. And when I went to open the door to go in the kitchen, because I had a white top on, the light was quite sort of just slightly dim. The reflection was on the door, and I thought it was a ghost. And I swear to God, in your house, I thought I'd seen the ghost. I realised it was myself.
Well,
it scared me.
The house, as you're aware of it was built in 1858. Now, it was built for the Lord Mayor of Croydon. It's got 29 rooms in there. There's 2 passageways, there's servants' quarters, there's 2 cellars, and there's a secret passageway. Did I show you the secret passageway?
No. Where is it?
Oh, and it goes from the TV lounge. It goes under the. Do you remember Scooby-Doo when you would push a wall? And you push this wall, and it goes through to another room, and it goes through to another room. Yes.
Griff did it to me. We went around the house, and we were showing me the house, and then he just disappeared, and I thought, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, because you.
But he just literally pushed this fake door and just went into the room behind it, and I was turning around thinking, what's going on?
There's not many people that can say they got a secret passageway in their house.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Are we talking too much, Chris? Sorry.
No, I'm loving this. This is great.
No, it's amazing. So I've got to then, I'm moving us in the horror direction first, if you don't mind. You then just agreed to come on to set of a horror film. Was it scary at all for you, Michele, not being a horror fan?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought, I tell you what scared me the most, and that was the guy who does all the blood.
Yeah, your
and
friend.
He makes up all the blood, and it's so realistic. It's incredible. So yeah, it was.
Was it Tequila Louise Carter? I think that's her name as well.
Oh, Tequila, yeah.
She's such a great. She does all this. Makes you look like you've had a car crash. Do you remember we were being chased around? A shopping centre by a nun carrying a 7 head in a film called Mosaic, which Tony's in.
Yes, it's for Tony's Mr. Daniels, and it premiered
Mr.
at Horror
Daniels,
MC last year.
It was really, really good fun. What did your dad say when we got home?
Can I tell you this?
Do it.
Well, my dad said, I said, we're in a horror film. And I said,
we turned up and it was at a shopping precinct, wasn't it?
No, you go.
And you said you can either pick up a bag with some shopping in or not. And I said, no, I'm just going to go as I am. And you went, no, pick up a bag. And I said, I want a bag. And you went, I want a bag. I said, well, I don't. And it was all the people who don't have a shopping bag step forward. Everybody else who's got a shopping bag goes to the back. So Griff was like number one. He was invited. And I was just like coming along as a plus one, I suppose, really. And I ended up being at Santa's Grotto right at the front. And Griff was a little sort of bod in the background, walking backwards and forwards with his shopping, and the camera was right on me. And I think he was a bit like, hang on a minute, who had the invitation here?
So anyway, we got home, and I said to my dad, I said, they picked on her, Dad. They used her more than me. And he said, well, it was a horror film.
No!
You had to be there.
Griff's dad has got Griff's sense of humour. That's where he gets it from. They are like two people.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to do more horror films? Did you have a fun experience doing them?
Well, I don't know much about the horror scene. I mean, if everything's from an outside, I'm not an actor, and I've done some bits and pieces in the past. I've made videos, pop videos, because I'm from the music industry, so we make pop videos. And there's a lot of sitting around with films, isn't there? And like the horror thing. But there's one thing that I did realise, which I only found out after meeting Lauren and Tony and a few of the other guys from that circle, is they call them low budget movies, are fantastic. They're not low budget movies. They are.
It's incredible.
Yes, if you tell someone we're in a low budget horror film, you'd imagine a child,
Stop,
a child with a
blurry.
video camera. But
Yeah.
these are top quality movies.
Yep.
The sound in the scripts, the acting is fantastic. I mean, some of the actual close up horror shots, with the bits, and there's a load of humour in the stuff that I've seen, which I like. I mean, I'd like to be in more, but who knows? Who knows what's around the corner? So, Chris, are you actually Are you an actor? Do you get involved?
No, not at all. I work in IT. No, I would love to. There's not. We just watch the movies, and that's kind of where our conversations always went with my sister. I would tell her and be like, I watched this movie and you've got to see it. And so like I had one recently where I watched Heretic with Hugh Grant. He's in a new movie out.
Yes, yeah.
And I immediately after I watched it, I'll text, like, she's my first go-to with like, pass on this one, or you got to see this one. And we've always done that. And so last time I was in London, we were talking and she's like, come on my podcast. Because at that time she was doing it was like specifically for London based, like in horror. And it was for promotion. It was in step with your book, right? Like the promotion for your book. So I came on and I was like, oh, I need a London based one. And because obviously I never really focused on one genre or like location, but I was like, Shaun of the Dead's British. It's maybe not London, but I was like, Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg, like one of the greats. And we started talking, and then we just decided to start doing it routinely. And
would you class Shaun of the Dead as a horror movie or a comedy movie?
Zombies, yeah, zombies.
Horror comedy.
Zombies, yeah.
Well, I'm curious, from outside the horror genre, does that mean then that you guys wouldn't think of Shaun of the Dead as a horror movie?
Well, I don't know, but it's certainly got horror and zombie in it, but it's very witty. That's a funny film. I mean, that's a funny film. But for an example, I would watch a lot of horror films when my son he now lives in Germany, as I told you, Chris. But I would watch horror films with him when he was about 17 or 18 because it was fun. Now, there was a film called 13 Ghosts. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that. Now, lots of heads cutting off, lots of blood everywhere, but it wasn't scary. You saw almost decapitation for the first 10 minutes. But then you see something like The Exorcist, which is playing on your mind, and you don't see anything for the first hour and a half, but you're terrified.
I've never seen it, so I know that I would have nightmares.
Michele, all you hear is a scratching in the lock.
I couldn't do it.
And
No.
In fact, I watched that about 3 years ago, and I took all of my guard dogs into my bedroom. I had 2 guard dogs and a small Jack Russell at the time, and I couldn't watch it without them being with me because it's terrible. But you couldn't see anything. It's not like someone gets their head blown apart. You just hear a.
But don't you think that's kind of traumatic in a way because it's playing with your mind?
It's playing with your mind. But yes, see, that's the thing about. It's a different director, isn't it? It's a different genre. And is that the same genre as 13 Ghosts? Well, I didn't think Shaun of the Dead was scary, but it's violent.
Not at all.
It's funny.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot, actually, is because there's the different genres within horror, right? So, like, Exorcist. Michele, please don't watch The Exorcist. If you just started dabbling into horrors, that was a movie that I think I saw as a kid that has stuck with me, like where it's just horrifying.
What year was that? 72?
I think it's a little
late 70s, maybe.
Okay.
I definitely didn't see it at like a theater. Like it was definitely one of those. My dad has this VHS tape, and you kind of pass it around like with everybody. But that's how I got into
actually,
horror.
you were right. It's 73.
There you go.
Very impressive.
But
I thought it was later. I thought it was like Rosemary's Baby.
78, 79, yeah. But that's more, I mean, like Shaun of the Dead is more of like comedy horror, right? Like it was way more comedy than horror, but when you throw zombies in, I would definitely call it a horror at that point.
Yeah. It follows along that. Did you guys see American Werewolf? Oh, sorry, Michele, go ahead.
I was going to say that I stayed in a pub once because I'm a licensee holder, and I stayed in an English pub in the middle of nowhere, and it's very, 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 very old. A lot of people see a ghost going past the fireplace, and I stayed there because the publican went on holiday for a couple of weeks, and I said, "Yeah, I will look after it for you, and I'll run it for you so you can have a break." And at the night time, I could hear footsteps outside the door, going up and down, absolutely petrified. I mean, literally, I had the window open, and because it was in the woods, all you can hear is so you had the owls going at night time, and you had footsteps going up and down outside the door.
Wow.
I was just like this. You've been to it. That was our first date. I took you there on our first date.
Oh, I know that pub.
Skimmington Castle.
Skimmington Castle,
in the middle of nowhere.
And we're still together.
And you haven't died.
I tell you another film, Dog Soldiers.
Oh, love
So good.
I think that's a fantastic film. It's got everything I like. It's got an SAS connotation, which is Special Air Service. It's got military connotations. It's got a great deal of humour in there, and it's got a lot of horror in there as well. I mean, it's werewolves. And it's talking about American Werewolf in London. Dog Soldiers is a fantastic, I think, quite underrated.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite of his films as well, because he also did what do they call that one with the women, The Descent, and everyone talks about The Descent as one of his better films, but I prefer Dog Soldiers. What about you, Chris?
Dog Soldiers, 100%.
Yeah.
Descent was good, but Dog Soldiers, that was one of my first movies that I knew was British film that we would talk. I think you recommended it to me, Lauren, and I watched it. Like, this is great. This is great.
Well, it's almost believable until the point where it isn't, if that makes sense. And you can imagine there's this poor team of war veterans that are stuck out there. You can imagine this happening, and they find out that there's some kind of conspiracy, and then there's the werewolves. Then you start, but it's when he's fighting the werewolf, when he's punching him with about brilliant stuff.
That's amazing.
I'm really learning all the time. I didn't know he knew so much.
Dog Soldiers is a classic film, isn't it?
Oh, amazing. And I think it's one of the better British horror films. Like, everyone always thinks of Hammer as the era, but we have a lot of really great British horror films in the last sort of 20 years. And I think Dog Soldiers should be up there in the top 10.
What was the other one you told us to watch, Lauren? It was at the base of the New York building where John Lennon was shot.
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
In the end, it's almost like Rosemary thinks, I'm going to love this kid because it's my child.
That's the worst bit for me. That she's like, no, and then she sees it and she's like, okay,
it's my
that's
child.
my Baba.
It's like with my Rottweilers. I love them. They were ripping screw to pieces, but I love them.
Aww.
In fact, what Michele said to that film was, I love the decor and it's art decor. But that was what you were thinking about. Do you remember? Yeah.
I remember I partly recommended it because you liked the scenery in Five so much, and it's beautiful. Her redoing that apartment.
I said to you, I think that's where John Lennon was shot, and it was, wasn't it?
Right, it was. I forgot. That's amazing. I love
I didn't even know that. Jeez, and I've seen that movie a few times.
Yeah,
Chris, I realised that as soon as I saw the building, because I'm a big Beatles fan. I'm a massive Beatles fan, and it's my brother's favourite band. He's no longer with us, but I saw that's the Dakota building, I believe.
Yeah, the Dakota building. Good memory.
See, look, I have a brain.
It's all coming out now.
Hey, give me a glass of wine and I know everything.
So as you said, we were talking about this on your radio show. I was introducing you to this, but I want to know how you guys started out doing a radio show and then how Michele got involved.
Well, can I take over here?
Yeah.
Well, what happened was I've been was I a pop star?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was a bit of a pop
You
star.
was in all the girls' magazines.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I was a bit. Sorry, Chris. I was. But before I was in a car carrying razor blades and acid, I was beautiful. I was a bit of a pop star back in the 80s. One thing led to another. I had a furniture company. It's a long story, but I had a book out, okay? And now, when I was, for an example, if you were, there!
Hey!
This book, which is hilarious.
I was the King of Spain. Now, back in the 80s, when I was touring and stuff, if you were on a TV show or a radio show, there was no Zoom, there was nothing like that. You'd have to fly there. So in Italy, Belgium, Holland, France, they're not too far from England, Chris. It's not like the vastness of America. So you fly
so quick.
It is, yes. We fly to all these places. Anyway, I had my book out, but I could, rather than going off to places to do my radio interviews, I could do them via Zoom like this. And I was doing 5 or 6 a day to promote my book.
How long ago was this?
2 years ago.
And you wrote your book during COVID?
During COVID, yes. And I done a thing for a program called 365 Radio, and a girl called Dawn Parry. She said, "You're quite funny, come on the next day." So I went the next day via Zoom, the next day. Then she said, "We've got an opportunity for you to do 2 hours every Tuesday." So I used to drive to her studio in Bristol.
Which was how many hours?
About 3 hours drive. And then sometimes I stay overnight, drive back. And then after about 12 weeks, she said, "There's thousands of people all over the world think you're quite funny. Do you want to do the drive time show?" Now, at the time I was 59. And if you say in the world of the music industry, you've got to say yes to everything, mate, especially when you're of a certain age. So I said, "Yes, of course." And then you worry about it afterwards. Because if I'd have said, "Can I phone you back?" they're immediately phoning somebody else. That's just the way of the world. So I said, yes. So they sent 2 engineers up. They put all the gear up and I'm a professional drummer. Anything with a plug on it, I'm knackered.
Anything IT related.
Anything IT.
He is in a panic.
So they sent these 2 engineers up. And they said, "All you got to do is press that button there, Monday at 4 o'clock." And I've been doing it now for, 2.5 years?
Couple of years.
2 years. And it's gone. I think we had about 4,000 people listen to us. Now we've got thousands all over the world. And it's gone. We had 3 records out this year, haven't we?
And I don't do many shows with you, but I do come in occasionally.
And how we met, shall I take go on, you tell. Go on. You tell.
No, you.
Well, I play in lots of different bands, okay, and I play in a ska band. And this ska band, I was just depping. Now, depping means that their drummer can't make it. So they phone up someone like myself as a professional drummer and say, "Can you make it tonight? It's 250 quid, just because I can play," and you just basically jam along. And Michele was at this gig because she knows this band, and she said, "I'm a drummer," and I thought, "Oh, I fancy you," and I said, "I'll give you some drum lessons, right?" And to this day, I still haven't. That's how we met, and we got involved in the radio show together because, to be honest with you, Chris and Lauren, without knowing it, she's quite funny. She's
very funny.
I don't know, just down to earth and funny.
No, you're fantastic. And she comes up with I've been very lucky to be on the show. You came up with that idea of the cards to pick a question and stuff.
Oh, the card game is an absolutely. I have stars on my show. I've had everyone from Rusty Egan through to Joe Wilkinson. I've had members of Mars. One of my favourite bands called Generation X, Billy Idol. He phoned me up from France. He flew in the other day. My show's going from strength to strength, guys. And Michele came up with this idea while I was walking the dogs. Why don't you have? Oh, it's a rubbish idea. And when she pursued it, people love this card game. People come on my show and want to play the card game.
Any card.
Pick a card. And every idea she comes up with, I would love to say they're mine, but they're not. They're yours.
I'm kind of behind the scenes. So Griff is the star. Behind the scenes, I'm kind of feeding some ideas in.
Yes, she is indeed.
So it's a partnership, but you take the stage. I don't like the limelight. I really don't.
And she's this is the thing. Okay, we our promo man put out, if our single goes top 10. Top 5, we will do our Christmas Eve show in our underwear. And I never thought it would go top 5. So I said, yeah. Didn't even tell Michele. And if it goes to number 1, we've got to do it naked. So hopefully it goes to number 1.
And now you're sitting at number 2. Yeah, it is so close. It's all right there.
I just think
People listening, I'm gonna put
place things around.
Oh, very good.
But Lauren, what was it like being invited to join us in our video? And you two, I thank you, because we class you as our friends. We really do.
Friends.
No, we are friends. I mean, that was the thing is I think Tony and I were like, oh yeah, sure, Griff has a weird request. That's fine. Like, do it. You know, we're like you with the horror movie stuff. You get the weird. A friend will send you thing and be like, I need a picture of a woman in silhouette holding a hatchet. We're like, I think I've got an axe. Like, great. And so you just like, so you said, hey, and we're like, yeah.
I'm amazed that you two have got all your clothes on, isn't it?
No, but I mean, nobody has put us in the top 10 of anything yet. So, you know, if Witches makes it into the top 10, maybe we'll do a show in our underwear.
Isn't it an honor that you're in the top two with a video with us?
There we go. There you go. Okay, Chris, if London Horror Movie Club episode reaches how many watches, we'll wear something ridiculous. What would it be?
What will you wear?
Oh, if we get 1,000 watches, I can dress as a giant pickle. I have that costume. what costume? Yeah, just a giant. I don't know why it's a prop costume we have, and like.
Why do you have a pickle costume?
We make films for a living. I've got a nun's costume. I've got a pickle costume. I have a giant sandwich costume.
When we travel from London to Southend-on-Sea, can I wear the pickle costume on the train?
Absolutely. It fits me. I think you're too tall. He's like 6'2". He's crazy.
I one time wore
you look tiny on the screen, Chris.
I one time wore a toddler's Eeyore costume to a Halloween party. It just fit over my head. You know, like the onesies where the head pops out?
Yes.
I just kind of put it on and then wore that. So I'll make it work.
Amazing. If we get 1,000 views, pickles on the way to South.
But I've got an amazing collection of hats. I've got about 500 hats. Everything from I'm not being horrible here, but everything from the SS helmets right the way through to French fireman's hats. And when you put these headgear on, whatever head regalia you put on, you can become that character. So, for an example.
When we were filming the video for the song we did, I Had a Dream, which was about loads of animals. And we always do the filming for any video here. And you said, right, come on then. And you don't really go through a criteria of what we're going to do. We just literally put the camera on and we roll with it. And one of Griff's things is like, that's it, take, we're going to send it off. He won't even let me have a look at what we filmed. I can't actually say yes or no. I can't look up. And he goes, no, one take, that's it, and we go. He turned up with this bag full of animal heads for this. I Had a Dream is all about animals. It's about the animals talking to him in the studio. Next thing I know, it's going to we put this one on, and it was a bear's head. Next one, it was a chicken's head. Next one, it was a horse. Next one was a fireman's helmet. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Lauren, when you're doing your stuff, how many takes will you do it? Will you ever do it in a one take and say, right, that's enough? Or will you carry on going? Because in my little head, because I've come from a music background, if one take is good enough, carry on going.
No, it's not like it's good enough. You don't even look at it. You go, right, that's it, next. I'm thinking, this is my face on this. I want to actually have a look and see this going, no, I've sent it. I'm like,
What would you do if you were filming?
I mean, the trouble with filming is you need so many angles. So you can almost never do one take because you need it from here and here and here.
So it's not like a video, is it? Like a pop video?
No. So we do like every now and then something small will be one take. But like there's I'll send this to you. But there's a really good example of just recently we did for Video Shop 2. I play a fluffer on a porn set that has an unusual experience happen. I love you so much, Chris. I'm fully clothed. I'm the fluffer. I'm the most dressed person on set. And there's this scene where I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but there's a scene where it happens and I have a very strong reaction to what's happening. And they had me do it like 7 or 8 different times. So they had me do it like happy, sad, shocked, whatever. And so the DOP, the director of photography, turned it into a meme of me just saying my one line in all these different ways. Like, seriously. It's really good. So I had like 10 takes for this 1 second shot.
And this
has Chris ever been in one of your films as yet?
No, he's all the way in America, but he's always on the podcast, so he gets.
Yeah, I'm not
been in some filming.
Someday I will do. I told them I probably wouldn't be great inside in the camera, but I'm like 6'3", like 260 pounds. Like I can lift things, I can carry heavy things.
Yeah, you'll be a great. Do you remember that odd was it Oddball, Odd Job?
In James Bond. Yep.
I think they made one of him out of a thumb.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I've got to know that.
I'm taking the piss out of you now, Chris. When I meet you, I'm going to buy you a beer. I promise you.
No, I'm good. We're good with that. Yeah, let's have a beer.
I'm used to it.
I will say my one stipulation as the big brother was, and especially when I met Tony and they actually came out and visited us this summer. So
yes, I saw.
My stipulation was I would prefer clothing with my sister, or I don't want to know about it. Like that was the movie. Like
I can understand being a brother.
Yes, now being an older brother, are you always looking at Tony thinking, "What are you doing with my sister?" Is it that kind of way?
No. She's an adult. Tony, I love Tony. Like I respect Tony. I know he's not, but the movies. It's just I just need to know that like I'm not going to be sitting on my couch, drinking a beer, watching a movie, and then be scarred for life. Like I can be scarred for life watching a horror movie. I don't need to see that. I need to know. I need to know in advance not to watch.
And all of our friends know, everybody that I work with, they ask me about a part, and I say, "Can my big brother watch it?" That's my first question. It's like, imagine you have a baby sister. Would you be okay watching your baby sister do this role?
Right.
And that's my rule. My rule is Chris watches horror films. If you wouldn't want your baby sister doing it, I'm not doing it.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's great. It's perfect. And it, because he's cool with the horror stuff, I've been killed in awesome ways. And then I get to be fully dressed. It's great.
Sorry, I'm laughing, but not at you. I've been killed in awesome ways.
It's the best. Actually, okay, so you guys have done quite a lot of like crazy stuff with the is there something you really want to do in the next music video? Is there like a bonkers?
Well, the next we've already started. I'm recording the next track. Recording that very soon, and I want to have the musical director do a film noir. You know that film noir where there's lots of close-up darkness and big hats in the rain and smoking cigars. It's going to be film noir. I want it to be very 60s.
Well, for your next
the next video shoot. Yeah. But we don't really know what's around the corner.
Was Lauren asking about horror? Did you ask about what?
Oh no, I was asking about for your next music video.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Well, Michelle's always got some great ideas, and I always say no, she hasn't. But God, she has. You say you want to score the next one, don't you?
Well, the thing is that I'm quite OCD and I'm quite perfectionist, and I like to look at stuff, stand back, and think, yeah, that was good. We've got the kind of general idea, but we need to just shift the angle, and then we just need to run again and edit, take this out, but say this instead, and then go for it, and then we get it. And Griff will go, no. And
we're quite opposite on that, aren't we?
But the thing that sometimes I say, but what you've got to understand is it's my image that's going out as well as yours, and I haven't had any license on it, and that makes me feel really uncomfortable because I think I'm a bit of a control freak. So I think we have to sort of try and work together on that, because Griff will go, yeah, that's great. And I'll say, no, we haven't even discussed or even run through what we're going to do. This is our work in progress. So that's a standing point. Now this is the real thing. But he never lets me do that. But I think that's what we need to do.
I think the next video, you're definitely going to get involved more. Absolutely.
And I would like to be behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
I tell you what's a very interesting thing. Now, I've been, dare I say, when I say about a star since I was like 15. I had my first book out when I was 15. Not really, I'm not Chesney Hawkes, but I've been in the media eye since I was a kid. I've had loads of records out. I've had my own fan club. I've been all over the world. I've toured the world 3 or 4 times. Now, when we go out now to certain events, Michele gets recognised. They recognise her from her voice because they hear her on the radio. You're Michele Winnell. And sometimes it makes you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah,
we're in a restaurant. We're in a restaurant.
I've never wanted limelight ever.
Never. Someone come up to me and say, "You're Griff Griffiths was the year, mate." And I signed.
Hang on, I just met your son and his now wife for the first time. So this was a meeting of his son and his girlfriend.
And funny enough,
we sat down for drinks. First time we'd ever met.
Yeah.
It's quite important.
And funny enough, they said, "Well, how's it going?" I said, "Well, she gets written." And this is no word of a lie. This chap comes up and says, "You're Griff Griffiths." And he said, "How you doing, mate?" I said, "I'm fine."
And you introduced him to all of us.
And I introduced this fella. I don't know who he is. And then she said hello. And he went, "You're Michele Winnell." And he nearly fell over,
He
Chris.
jumped up to his feet and he basically kissed my hand, gave me a hug, wouldn't let me go. So I've met Michele with one now and plastered it all over social media.
Yeah.
And his son, his girlfriend, was like, "What is going on?" It was like we planned it. It was so funny.
We go to a lot of punk gigs and stuff, which is my genre, like punk and new wave and rock and roll. And she gets recognised loads. You don't really like it, do you?
No, I tend to
No?
away from it, and then sometimes I just go to speak to him, and then someone will hear me, they recognise me.
They recognise her voice. They
So
go,
funny.
Michele Wynell. That's weird, isn't it? They think that's weird.
That's amazing.
But hey, with the radio, it makes sense. But it's funny that you don't want to have that limelight, right? So you'd rather just be
I'd rather
a part of it, but behind.
Yeah. I mean, I've had the opportunity to do my own radio show.
You were given a show, weren't you?
But I don't want to have that pressure. And I don't want to have that limelight. I would much rather be behind the scenes, pulling strings and making things work, coming up with ideas. But I don't want that kind of day-to-day pressure. So when Griff's on the radio show, he goes, "Do you want me? Do you want to come in?" And I go, "Well, no. I will be in the house when he's recording with somebody quite famous. And I will pop in and say in between records, "Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a coffee?" And I'll go and make them. And sometimes I'll hang outside the studio door, wait for them to play a record before I go back in again. And sometimes they say, "Stay and say hello." But 9 times out of 10, I'm kind of there, but I don't introduce myself. So I don't want to be the limelight.
But Chris, we kind of fell into this. We're not famous by any means, but we're quite respected in our field. It's going from strength to strength. And we kind of fell into this. This wasn't a plan of ours, was it?
But I think what's funny is you have some really, really famous people on your show, but because I was more into kind of indie music, and indie's kind of my genre, whereas you're punk and two-tone stuff. So you get people coming into your show who I don't really know who they are. So what happens is I go, "Hi, hello, hi, how are you? Do you want a cup of coffee?" And then sometimes you just take the piss out of them.
Yes, she's got no idea how well respected this stars people are.
And then we're having bear hugs after. "It's nice to meet you, Michele," with one hour going, "Oh, it's lovely to meet you too." And then he goes to me, "You've got no idea who you just met, have you?" And I go, "Oh, he's a really nice bloke. Who was that?" And they say, "Oh, he was such and such."
No, you've got no idea.
Really? Oh, okay.
I think that's quite healthy though, guys, because everyone's got an ego on them. No doubt you should do it. Having something.
No, but you've got a huge ego. Enough for both of us.
It's when they realise that Michele hasn't got any interest in them for who they are, they really accept her. And when they accept us, we don't. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I can imagine how nice it is for them to not feel like someone. I mean, I don't know personally, but like,
Well, there's certain people that we know. I'm not going to mention any names. That will fall over backwards and do something quite bizarre to be in someone's good books. Who's a little bit of a star, and you've never been like that.
No,
I don't think you ever will.
I'm not that kind of person. I treat everybody like as I find them. I've never really been starstruck. And that's not because I don't respect them or anything. I just take it all in my stride, really. I think that's why people feel quite relaxed, because I don't treat them any differently. Because that's just how I am.
Yeah, there's a very good friend of mine called Joe Wilkinson. Now he's in the video, and he's a BAFTA award-winning comedian. He was in that Afterlife. I've known him. I've worked with him thousands of times over the last 25 years. And I was going to I went to the Wii.
You were driving down to see Dawn.
I was driving down to see Dawn
Carey. Do
a morning show.
And you stopped off at the service station.
Drive a Wii. And I'm running to have a Wii in the service station. And there's Joe Wilkinson there. Now, if you know Chris, you wouldn't know who Joe Wilkinson was. He's a major star here in the UK.
He's a really big comedian.
And he went, "Griff," and I was on the phone to you.
He had a hat on.
Yeah.
He had a coat up.
And his glasses
he was with his wife with a cup of coffee in a service station near Bristol. And he was trying to keep himself to himself because you used to do the comedy circuit together. You recognised him immediately.
I was on the phone to you when I...
And you go, "Oh my God." And you're like, oh, and they're like having this massive reunion.
And I gave
and
you the phone to Joe, didn't I?
Hello, Joe. I had no idea who I was talking to whatsoever. It was really funny.
Lauren, do you know Joe Wilkinson?
Yeah. I mean, Tony is who introduced me. You're right. He's huge in Britain. But I wouldn't have, funnily enough, I probably wouldn't have.
He does
recognized
8 out of 10 Cats, which is a major show here. And he comes across as a bit of a fool, but he's a very, very intelligent man.
I know Joe Wilkinson. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
He said 8 out of 10 Cats. He's the guy that has the beard and he always has
Yeah, Chris, he comes across as being a bit daft, and he is far from daft. He's like another good friend of ours in the videos, Henning Bain. Now, he calls himself the German comedy ambassador. Now, this guy is so clued up, and I've known him for 30 years. Do you know Henning Bain, the German comedy ambassador?
Yeah, I used to love. It was Dara O'Brien did it. It was like End of the Week, Mock the Week, and he was on there.
Yes, the Henning was always on there.
Yeah.
And these, you meet some. I don't know how we got it, but some of these comedians, they're not foolish. Like because I was a professional comedian for 5 years. They're not foolish. Every ad lib is rehearsed. You have to, and you can't be pissed. You've got to be on the ball.
Tell the story about Mark Butcher and who he is and what happened.
Do you know? Again, can I tell this story?
Yeah,
Please.
But it relates to us guys here because Mark Butcher is in our video with us. Now, Mark Butcher, he's an England cricket star. He's a black dude. He's an England cricket captain. I think they won the Ashes 4 or 5 times. He's
lovely.
He's a lovely friend. He's a pundit on Sky TV. He's a massive star here.
He's great.
Now, we've got the 2 guard dogs at home. Michelle's there, so I'm recording. I'm not recording. I'm going out live with Mark Butcher. So I'm there. He's 4 foot away from me.
The studio door is open.
The studio door's open. Yes. So I'm talking away. So anyway, Mark, because he's now making music. He makes some brilliant soul tunes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm talking away to him. All of a sudden, I see him grip the 2 arms of the chair. Right. Michele, being Michelle's, let one of the guard dogs out. And these are 2 big Rottweilers. They will rip you to pieces. That's not their job, but they're guard dogs. So one of them's walked in. You saw Mark Butcher looked at me, and this dog's walked in, looked at him and thought, can I swear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
He walked in and looked at Mark and said, who the fuck are you? Right? He walked over to me and I stroked her head. And then the next thing is like, I'm going to have you. So I had to grab her,
I've come running in the room trying to grab hold of the dog. And Mark Butcher is white knuckled, like he's on a fair
Mark Butcher,
like he's on the
white knuckle ride.
What's it called?
Roller coaster.
Yeah, like that, like this. And I just grabbed the dog. And the first thing Griff said to him when he turned up is, "Don't open any doors.
Yeah, you'll lose a head.
I don't want you to literally come across the guard dogs and they take your arm off." And he was like this.
Down there, he nearly went white.
Well, yeah, he did. The colour just drained out.
It sounds terrifying. I would have been.
Yeah.
He was terrified.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's really good. I'd be surprised if he ever comes back.
At least the dog didn't get loose, right? That's the good news.
Oh, you managed to pick up. Lauren, you've been to the house.
Yeah.
The only dog that's ever bitten me was her dog. About
your little one.
Yeah,
the little tiny one.
Right, we went through a stage where we were doing loads and loads of exercise and we were getting really, really fit every single day, 5 days a week. We were working out with a personal trainer, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Griff was working really, really hard. He'd go for like a 2-hour walk before we even got to training, and the training was starting at sort of 7 a.m. Anyway, one night he got up to go to the loo in the middle of the night and he didn't want to put the light on because it didn't want to wake me up. So he gets out of the bed, walks right round the end of the bed, past me, and he's got about 4 stairs to go down to get to the bathroom. My little fox terrier likes sleeping on stairs, and I'm just used to that. But of course, she's in a different house, and she makes herself very at home. The Rottweiler is terrified of her being a terrier, so she went to sleep on about the 3rd run of the step. So you didn't want to put the light on. You went to go to loo, and you went 1, 2, 3 steps and trod on my dog. Now,
fucking hanging off my
she
fucking
literally, toe. She went for
hanging off my toe.
Went for his big toe, and all I heard was, "Ow!" thought he was having a heart attack from all the exercise he was doing, because you've lost about 3.5 stone in weight since the exercise, and I thought he'd done too much and he was having a heart attack.
I was swinging
so
my
I
leg.
jumped out of bed to see what was going on, and in the darkness, put the light on. He's swinging his leg, hopping up and down on one leg.
She's hanging off my toe.
My dog was literally swinging off his toe.
And he just kicked her off. She hit the wall.
It was like pump. Blood was pumping everywhere.
I had to go and have a tetanus, and I was gigging that night. I think called Shine Festival. I think there's about 4,000 people watching me play, and I couldn't even lift my arm up.
Oh God, because of the shot.
They should put it in your bum, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they should have put it in my bum.
But yeah, little Beanie, she wouldn't let go, and you could see the punch marks from underneath, and all the toenail went black and blue. She wouldn't let go. But
my God.
I'll do the same.
Yeah.
You got all these big guard dogs.
Are we talking too much?
Sorry
about that.
No, you haven't. I just can't. I'm amazed you've let the dog back into the house because I've seen it since then.
Have you seen the little one?
Yeah, I got to see Michelle's one. No, I think just once, not the most recent time, but yeah.
Oh, Beanie, she's deaf and she's blind. We go out for walks with her, and she will follow another couple, and then sniff them and realise she's following somebody else.
She howl and look around her right in front of her, and shouting,
poor little thing.
And then she'll wander off in the opposite direction, completely lost. We have to run after her.
It's the honest truth. We've had to put her in the car for this interview because she just sit there and cry because she can't hear herself cry anymore. So she.
So she'd be crying through the whole interview. So we put her in the car and she's just curled up and gone to sleep.
Oh man.
She's got a blanket. She's okay. It's not like a hot summer.
She knows it's winter. She's only in London.
I'm just saying.
So how many dogs do you have? I'm just curious.
I've got 2 Rottweilers at home. They're guard dogs. One of them's a nice dog that I take out with. The other ones, I think they're called attack dogs in America. You know, they're trained to look after the house. Yeah, it's quite a big house I live in, Chris. So Lauren's been there. In fact, it's a great house for horror.
I was gonna say your house is perfect, and you told me once you'd tell me about it having ghosts or not having.
Well,
ghosts?
my mum is the 7th daughter of a gypsy family. So I'm from a gypsy family.
Which is a witch, isn't it?
It's a witch, yeah. So in our circles of travellers, she's very well respected. So if there's a problem, everyone with the family phones her up, being the 7th daughter of a 7th daughter, yes. Now, my mum can see things that I can't see and hear things that I can't hear. Now, whether you believe that or not, I believe this is true.
I think she's pretty tuned in.
She's very tuned in to.
She's 86.
She's 86. My dad's 87. My dad's 88. She's 87.
She's really, really switched on.
Now, here's the thing: they listen to my radio show every day, and I always go downstairs to make sure they're okay. And I don't know if I told you this story. About 3 months ago, I went downstairs. You okay, Dad? You okay, Mum? My dad said, "Brilliant show today, kid. I love Miley Cyrus." And I said, "I'm not playing Miley Cyrus." And he was listening to the wrong channel. He said, "Who's the bird you're talking to?" I said, "I've got on my own."
Oh my God, I love that. So does this mean your mom saw or felt spirits in the house?
Well, I'm from a background of where my family, they had nightclubs, a thing called spills, which are like gambling clubs, and they had tyre yards and second-hand car yards. And there's a certain smell about tyre yards, which is rubber. So I've worked with tyres my whole life. Now, on occasions, I can smell rubber in the house. And my mum thinks it's one of her brothers or my late grandfather wandering about. Now, I've smelt this. Now, whether it's something that's come from the drains or something from outside, I've smelt this myself. I've never myself seen a ghost. I once picked, because it's a big house, I picked up the phone and someone said, "Get off the line. The master of the house wants to make a call." Now, that was back in the late 70s. Now, there was cross lines then. There were cross lines. That could have been that. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen one. I'd like to see the evidence, wouldn't you?
I would. You've had a ghost experience, Chris.
Yeah. No, I've had a couple different. I have a couple different ones. I don't know how many I've seen necessarily. I've definitely. What's that?
Who were they?
Well, the first one that we had, the massive one, was we stayed. My wife and I went to Savannah, Georgia, which is it's just an old seaport in Georgia. it's from pirates to Civil War issues. So like, and the hotel that we stayed at was a very nice hotel. But in the 1860s, it was a Civil War hospital. So, and it's one of the few towns that William Sherman, who was a Northern general, did not burn to the ground in the South during the war. But they would keep all these people there, and it was supposed to be the most haunted place, and that's why we picked it. But it was the biggest mistake of our life because my wife wanted the TV on, all the lights on. She wanted, I mean, we didn't get any sleep because we would have issues with the door and stuff. I've also stayed at a house where, you know, like when you have a lot of people there, you just kind of find rooms to sleep in. My brother and I, Lauren's brother as well, like our other brother, we've both seen a man with like a hat at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up, just kind of like in the center
and
corridor.
You've both seen this?
We both seen at different times.
Oh,
Because I wasn't in the room with him, but like where the living room kind of faces the entry hallway, and it's like a big arch that goes in there, and it kind of feeds into the rest of the house. But the entranceway is where he saw it, and then we didn't talk about it till like later on, and then he had said something one time, and I was like, did he have like a brimmed hat, like almost like an outdoor working hat, you know? And he's like, yeah. So we've seen the same thing there.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Wow.
And it could just be somebody. It could be just somebody just watching. You know, some creep person that wanted to watch you sleep that was also in the house. But I don't think it was.
That's not better.
No, it might be even scarier.
Yeah, you have to have the same hat on.
I went to a spiritualist church, and
What does that mean?
well, I went to go and see a white witch for a reading.
When?
Oh, a long time ago, years ago. And she said, "You're really anxious." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You're thinking your mum might turn up to talk to you." And I went, "Yeah, my mum died when I was 19. So she said, "Here is not the place or the time. You need to go to a spiritualist church if you're looking for your mum to talk to you. She doesn't want to talk to you here. She's here, but she doesn't want to make herself known." So I said, "Oh, okay then." So I went to go see this woman, and that was that. And I really forgot about it, but they told me where this church was. And then it must have been about 18 months later. It was on a Saturday night. I wasn't really doing anything. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go there. I turned up on my own, and I sat at this church at the back, and I felt real heebie-jeebies. The woman who was taking the reading was a real East Ender. She was really cockney, and I got something in my eye. My eye kept on watering, and I was just like really nervous. And it got towards the end of the evening. I thought, well, she's not going to talk to me, you know, waste time coming really. What was that? Well, rubbish. And then she suddenly literally just switched to me, and I was like, talking to somebody behind me. She went, no, you. She said, "You got something in your eye, haven't you? It's been irritating you all night." And I went, yes. And she said, "You believe in angels, don't you?" And I went, yes. And then she came out with loads and loads of other things that was so relevant to me that I was just almost like paralyzed with just so scared, but so intrigued and wanting to listen, but just couldn't really talk, didn't know how to really take it, what she was telling me. And then when she finished, I just couldn't stop crying, and all these people saying to me, "God, are you okay? You okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And I walked out, and I was so shaken, but I also felt comforted by it, really comforted. But she was telling me stuff that nobody would have known, and I've never ever gone back. I've never had a reading since, but it was really, really odd, really strange. And so I think there is a lot more out there. It was just too bizarre, because you would have known this stuff.
There's a girl called Gal Hart who's a psychic. Now, Lauren, she's in our video as well. She's a good friend of ours. Goes out with the drummer of a band called Red Anger, who's in the video, a punk band. And she was a guest on my show, and I couldn't help but be terrified when she was going 4 foot away. She was looking at me, and it's almost like she could read my thoughts. But whether she could or not. Do you believe in that, Chris?
There's got to be something there. I do believe that there are people. I think there's a lot of people that make it up, but I think that there are definitely people that are tuned in that can read certain things.
Can I just say, there's been some UFOs in America recently, hasn't there?
I was just telling my sister about that. Yes.
I saw it on the news. It's all been shut down. Can you please give me your take on it from America? What's been the news and what's been happening?
I was telling my sister, there's drones on the East Coast, and they're big drones. These aren't like the little 12-inch by 12-inch drones that kids have at Christmas. These are big, like they look like school buses or cars, like with propellers that go, they'll move and like up and down and then go that way. And the government has come out and said we don't know what they are. The like all the local like senators right now they're in New Jersey, and the reason I was talking about is because I have some friends that live in New Jersey from school, and they're like, I can see this out of my backyard.
They can see it.
Yeah, they're that close. Like they're just like you can see them in the air and like the sound.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
I have not seen them live. I've seen videos that people have taken. But now they're showing, now they're like starting to edit the videos. But
Griff loves all of this.
I love all of
I
that.
haven't heard of it. I'm surprised I know about it.
Yeah. So the conspiracy theorists are either it's an alien attack or it's the United States government flying these things and they're going to fake an alien attack. So now the conspiracy theories are going crazy, which is even more.
But you realise how far the nearest planet is. You'd have to leave here at the same time as the Romans invaded the UK to just get there.
Yeah. I am totally thinking this is either a group of people who are like, do you remember a couple years ago where they find the mirror of bliss, the statues in the middle of
the
big parks and stuff? And it comes out at like they're like people started thinking like this is aliens, this is this. No, it was just like an artist that was like figured out how to. Yeah, so I'm it's either the government doing something, and it's like trying to get. I don't know why they would be doing it. It seems like a lot of time and effort just to kind of prank somebody, but. My feeling on aliens is if there's truly aliens out there, they're not going to come to like New Jersey and just kind of poke and prod around. They're just going to come and take whatever resources they need or whatever and then go. Like they're not going to be like.
They hide.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, we're going to go to East Orange, New Jersey tonight. Like no one's going to East Orange, New Jersey tonight. So like. They got the wrong term.
Yeah, and then muck around and disappear.
Yeah. It's always places. There's always places. There's not a lot of people.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they're taking that long to get here, they aren't going to be like, hello? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Long to get
and as
Laura, there's a fine line between stalking and research, and I think I've got that with you because I've seen you've got the stormtrooper and stuff in your house, in your new house.
We do. I mean, that being said, I promise it wasn't that we saw your amazing collection of stormtroopers and items and then decided we were going to recreate it. I swear. What happened basically was Tony saw it at a secondhand store and fell
I had a collection of old arcade machines. I had a Star Wars, an Asteroids, a laptop Space Invaders. I had 3 or 4 pinball machines. But these things are so. They're retro, they have to be played, they have to be looked after. And when you think they're works of art, from some of them in 1962, they've got to be £50 an hour for someone to keep them running. And in the end, when my son left the house, I had no reason to keep them. You have to have some space, but you've also got an arcade machine, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a Pac-Man, but it is nowhere near as cool as the Star Wars pinball machine in my brother's house.
Oh.
So much so that like Tony, when we stayed up there, we stayed in the guest room and it's in the guest room and the first thing he didn't unpack, didn't shower. Can I play on the pinball machine?
There's an art for pinball. Are you any good at pinball?
I'm okay. I'm not that great. You should be better, Chris.
I should. I just don't. My gaming stopped in like 1998. Like I just stopped playing like the video games and pinball. I just don't play pinball enough. We redid our attic, so it's on the 3rd floor, and usually by the time I get up there, I'm doing something else. Usually by the time I get home to sit down, I'm like, I just want to sit down. I don't want to go up and play the video game.
Some spare time. Do you want to go and play pinball?
Yeah, I know.
When I was at college, they had a car racing machine in the refectory, and it was 1989, and I was obsessed with it, and I was always on the top 5 I used to wipe the floor with all the blokes. I used to love it.
I might get you one.
Oh, I'd love one.
Ah, that's sweet.
There you go.
Atari. I used to play Atari with my friend Sarah. We used to have Atari where the cars used to go off and go round the maze.
Oh, that's really old-fashioned.
Oh God, I love that game. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Gavin and Stacey. It's a really Gavin and Stacey in Wales in Barry. My best friend as I grew up, Sarah, still a close friend of mine now. Her brother moved to Barry, and I went to go and stay there a couple of years ago. It's where Gavin and Stacey's actually filmed, and we stayed there. And his loft room is completely and utterly dedicated to anything Star Wars related, anything to do with Atari, any type of games. Anyway, he had Atari there, and I said I loved that little racing car game. And he went, "We'll play it." So he took up the actual console, the whole actual kit, downstairs into the front room, plugged it all in. There we were playing this game. My friend Sarah and I were in our 50s, and we last played it when we was probably 11.
Oh, how wonderful!
And honestly, I was screaming the house down. Oh my God, we're going to crash! Ah! And it was absolutely wonderful. It was so good. And that was in. They actually do live in Barry. So I saw all the places where Gavin and Stacey's is filmed because they live there, and it was just so brilliant. It was such good fun.
I don't know what we expect him to. We started this. We are recording, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. In fact, I was gonna say,
I started 5 minutes.
I don't know what you mean.
See what I have to part with. It's like he's on this planet, but he's not really.
Oh, I'm not.
That's great. It's been amazing. In fact, the hour is basically blown by, so I have to sort of wrap ourselves up. But I want to end by asking you what you guys do as like Christmas traditions, or do you watch any Christmas movies or something? Because it's going out right after Christmas. So what do you guys do as a Christmas tradition thing?
I always watch. I like war films. I love a war film. Now, I would always watch with Christmas. My mum and dad. I would watch something like The Dirty Dozen or Kelly's Heroes, because my dad's of a certain age. One of my favourite Christmas films is that one. What's that one with the? Oh God, it's so favourite. I can't remember it. No. When he dies and he comes back to life.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Oh,
never seen it.
You've never seen it.
It's so good. It's so good.
I tell you, it will make you cry. Lauren, tell Michele about the story.
So it's Jimmy Stewart, so like classic thingy, and he
was a war hero as well.
Yeah, he was a war hero as well, and he'd had this like. Really, he's always been a good guy. He's always given up for other things. You know, he had this dream when he was little, he'd travel everywhere, but then his dad got ill, so he had to take over the business. Like one of those really great guys. But life's just been really rough for him the last few years, you know, with the work and his family, and it's been so stressful. And he ends up at the start of the film, he's at this bridge trying to decide if he wants to jump off and kill himself. And a bit Scrooge-like, an angel comes down and helps him sort of see things. So it's got a little bit of that Christmas Carol, but in a very different way. And it's beautiful. It's Tony's favorite movie.
Isn't it? It's so moving, isn't it? And it just shows you that it gives you like hope that if you're a nice person, nice things will happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Snowman. The Snowman's Christmas.
Have you ever seen Scrooge with what's that one with
Bill Murray?
No, sorry. It's a cartoon version of. It's got Jim Carrey who does the lead.
No, Chris, have you?
Wait, you done the Grinch?
It's a cartoon.
Oh, no, I have not.
Christmas is good.
Oh, okay. We should see it, I guess.
Yeah.
Have we spoken too much, guys?
No,
now.
No, I love it.
We love. Yeah, this has been amazing. It's been this entertaining for us. I can only imagine our listeners are having a great time.
Is this going out live now?
No, it'll go out on the 20th of December. So everybody who's listening, I hope you've had a lovely Christmas.
Yeah. But Christmas smile got to number 1. Let's hope that.
Yes, let's hope they
when is the voting done, and how can we put it on like social media and stuff and get people to vote?
Oh God, I think the voting for next week is started already.
So you go to www.newdawn.fm, and when you log in, there's 3 little bars in the top left-hand corner. You click on there, you look for the revival charts, and then a list will come up of all the artists you can vote for, and look for Griff and Michele with 1 L, and make sure you click on us, anybody else you want to vote for, and then you must push submit.
No, many years ago, it was, the charts, the UK charts certainly were guided by how many records you sold. But no one sells records anymore because it's all downloads. Now, I think you've got to have something like 30,000 downloads to earn £2. So it's down by votes, which is for favouritism, how people would like you as an act, I suppose. But who knows what's going to happen, Chris and Lauren? Who knows?
Number 2 is incredible. But we're so close.
I want number 1 because I want to do my show with you naked.
Everything will be strategically placed, I'm telling you.
Well, my tongue will be. I'm sorry, guys.
On that note,
I've gone red.
I think I might close up the podcast on that thank you guys so much for being on. It's been such a joy. Thank you.
Thank you
very much
for the invite, guys. And Lauren, it's a pleasure to know you. And Chris, it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. We'll see you when
I hope to meet you. I hope to meet you guys face to face soon.
And wish you and Tony. Thank
you. I will.
No, show them the bears. Get into the bears.
Oh. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, of course, everyone, for listening to the London Horror Movie Club.
If you want to share your thoughts about this episode, please head to our Facebook or YouTube pages. We're grateful to Cucurbit, who made our music. Thank you for listening, and please join us next time for the London Horror Movie Club.